on a motorcycle, I feel like I get to just be a person and get to experience this world as just a human being with people, as opposed to being, you know, a threat or something that people are scared of. And I wish more people were able to experience that.
Good to see you, Earl.
Yes,
Be
sir.
good out there.
Do people treat you differently when you ride a motorcycle? I figured the best way to talk about how people treat you differently is to do a normal thing. So I'm gonna go get some groceries, run a normal errand on my bike, and we'll have a conversation on exactly how people have treated me differently over the time I've been riding motorcycles.
Ice the closer.
The first way that I noticed that strangers have treated me differently is that random people are very comfortable coming up with me and interacting with me. It will be the people that normally, in any other circumstance, I would bet would never talk to me, and to be fair, I would never approach them either. I mean, people that you would assume don't like black people, that may not like black people. People with different religious beliefs, people with different political beliefs, moral beliefs, all those different things. But when they see me on a motorcycle, it cuts through all of that. And for that moment, I'm not just a tall, big black man with locks. I'm not anything other than this man on a motorcycle, which for them either is a connection that we share, we both ride motorcycles, or someone that they really care about or cared about rode motorcycles. Like a lot of women that came up to me, older women, saying like, oh, you know, my dad used to ride motorcycle, I used to go in the back with him. And a lot of, you know, men came, hey, what you got there, buddy? Especially on this one, this VFR. Hey, what you got there, buddy? Oh man, that looks great, man. And like, we'll talk, and you never know how long the conversation will be. You never know what you talk about. I mentioned in my video when I rode the motorcycle to work, one of those people was the CEO of the company. So people treat me differently in that they don't seem afraid to approach me, but also on the other end, my favorite, oh, you know, I know blah, 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 who died on a motorcycle. Because one thing people who don't know you love doing is telling you that their sisters, ex-boyfriends, cousin, fourth removed, had a motorcycle accident, you know. So that is something that I've noticed as well. But for the most part, it's just really cool, really good conversations with random people that, at least in the way I see the world and the way I've lived in the world, you know, if I'm driving my car, nobody's really going to come up to me like that. In fact, I'm more likely to see people go the other way. When I was filling up my car at a gas station one time, the lady drove near me, and then she went to the other side of the gas station, which was completely vacant and actually close to a problematic parking lot. And she would have been safer with me. So, but on the motorcycle, you know, I just haven't had experiences where I feel more like a threat than a human. And the unfortunate and the beautiful thing is, like, on a motorcycle, I feel like I get to just be a person and get to experience this world as just a human being with people, as opposed to being, you know, a threat or something that people are scared of. And I wish more people were able to experience that.
I just had a perfect example of what I was talking about. I walked in to go accept a package just like this, and the dude asked me how long I've been riding, and he said his dad rode. So that's a simple example of what I'm talking about, where random people, you get to have that human connection, that human interaction that for some reason we as humans don't do as often unless we have something that's an obvious thing we have in common.
Another big way I notice people treat me differently is the kids. The children are so excited about motorcycles, people on motorcycles. It's like they have all this curiosity and this interest, and I notice that it seems like a lot of adults will tend to be more fearful, and they'll be worried about like the negatives in the fear, whereas the kids, I guess, haven't been tainted by the roughness of life sometimes or other people's opinions, and so they still have like this of course childlike joy and curiosity. And if you wave at a kid, like 8 out of 10 kids are already going to be waving at you or just like staring at you, just seeing like what is happening. They'll always asking if you could rev it, but if you wave at a kid, oh my goodness, the smiles and the laughs, it makes you feel really good, because you just feel like you kind of made that child's day. And that's whether they're like playing in the yard or they're in their parents' back seat of a minivan driving their parents crazy, you know, or if they were asleep and they just heard you. That's something that I've noticed doesn't happen when I'm driving my car because children are not paying attention to you. But on a motorcycle, them kids are so excited.
I want to give another quick shout out to Olivia for that wonderful intro voiceover. I'm happy to have that as part of the channel, and she is just really sweet. So thank you to you, and also shout out to your brothers. Okay, we just arrived at Costco. Got to get some salmon and maybe some fruit snacks. The third group of people that I would say interact differently with me since I've been riding motorcycles are the people who actually are interested in riding themselves. I mean, I remember when I used to want to ride motorcycles, but I didn't have one yet. Of course, the thing you do is you go approach people who have motorcycles and ask them, is it as dangerous as they say it is? Have you been in a crash? What type of bike is that? How much did it cost? All those questions. So I've had great conversations with people like that. I love talking to them. I always guide them to the channel because the channel was made for people just like that who are curious and either will never get one or are curious and are trying to figure out the best way to do it and stay safe. All right, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well.
So I just pulled up to Costco, and you said you rode a Busa.
Yeah, a Hayabusa.
A new one? 2000. 2000. How long you been riding?
I've been riding since I was 17.
Wow, that's amazing, sir.
Yes, sir.
Well, sir, it's nice to meet you.
You too.
I really
My
appreciate
name is
you.
Dave.
I go by Ice the Closer on
All right,
YouTube.
there.
Yes,
hey,
sir.
look, good to see you, Will.
Yes,
Be
sir.
good out there.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you.
All right.
Gotta get my salmon. The fourth one, everybody don't like motorcycles. A lot of people are extremely uncomfortable with motorcycles, excuse me, because they aren't exposed to them a lot. You can tell when you're driving or when you're riding on the highway sometimes the way certain cars stay extremely far back, or they drive really close, or they try to, it's like they're competing with you, they treat you like you're a car. You can tell a lot of people just aren't comfortable with motorcycles, at least in my area. Not a lot of negative, but it is something that you get used to experiencing as a rider.
I feel like that time in Costco just embodied everything that this video was about. I talked to 4 different people, 2 black men that both ride motorcycles that are older than me by at least probably 20 years, a Latino man who does not ride but was asking what type of pants I had on and where I got them from. Shout out to the yellow camo, which will be in the description if you guys do want some yellow camo. And then an older white lady who rides a 2007 Softail and is the one who took the thumbnail for this video, so shout out to her for sure. You do get the negative, like I said, but if you look at all the points I made, 3 of them are positive. And I haven't even really talked about the motorcycle to motorcycle connection, like when you're riding and you got people come and give you the wave, which is one of the most exciting things when you first start riding, and it still excites me to this day. Riding motorcycles is just a different thing. It's like a different world that's right under everyone's noses, but most people will never experience it because of fear, which I'm not saying is unjustified, but that's why that we all connect, because we all realize, like, fear or not, we were able to push past what we've been told or what we've seen to experience something. And I just love it. It's strengthened my relationship with God, because it's changed how I consider myself. Like, I realize I am mortal and that my decisions really do matter, and so I don't just take stuff for granted anymore. But it also allowed me to realize, like, certain things are not as serious. Shout out to my friend Z's dad. He talked about like how motorcycling taught him to have fun. again, the conversation I would have never had with him about, you know, his personality if it wasn't for this. So in conclusion, people do interact with you differently, and I think that is beautiful. It's something that's changed my life. And on a random Tuesday in the middle of the day like today, you guys have gotten to see how I've just been able to connect and interact with so many people. And you never know where those connections can go, but I do think when God made us humans, we were supposed to be connected and talk to each other. And I think the way the world looks now, where so many people are lonely and violent and insecure and shameful, a lot of that, if we just kind of got back to that human connection and started looking at people not for their stereotypes but for who they are, a lot of that pain and hurt wouldn't exist. But also for that, we'd have to come back to God and really start loving each other the way we're supposed to. So that's another conversation for another day. I want to remind you that God loves you and I love you. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video, learned something, got to take something away from my experience. And if you have any experiences, whether you ride or you don't, drop them in the comments below. I think that would be a dope conversation to have. So I love y'all, and I'll see you next video. Peace.